So nearby, Lucas, I'm here with the business skeleton to talk some business. You ready to talk some business?
I didn't know he was the business skeleton.
Well, yeah. It was he first appeared in a sponsored video, so I can see it's with the business skeleton.
Oh, okay.
So it's been a while since we've done a how not to do business on the channel, and I'm aware of that they were... He's bored already, isn't he?
I wonder why people have stopped reaching out to us.
And I'm aware of the fact they were one of the most popular series we did on the channel. I've often been asked, have you got any more planned? And the answer to that was no, because most of them were just going over the same points. People aren't familiar with this series, it's just, we've done about 7 of them now, 8 including this one.
I think that's the right, yeah.
Discussing various interactions we've had with potential sponsors for the channel, and discussing why we turned them down and how they approached us in a way that did not fit with our own personal ethos and ethics in regards to advertising on this channel.
Yeah, and I'm sure, as you say, there's been other people reaching out, but we'd just be treading over the same old things, yeah. And
I think the best one we did is when we did the Raid Shadow Legends one, we managed to get hold of their entire contract and broke that down in its entirety. And after you've tackled potentially the most prevalent advertiser on all of YouTube, there's very little...
Have you heard about audible.com?
No, there's very little... Well, actually, we did do an Audible one as well.
Oh, right,
yeah, we managed to get Audible's contract as well. And the reason that we never really did another How Not to Do Business is because, as I said, we'll be retreading the same ground. But something happened very recently that made us want to revive the series, didn't it, Lucas?
Yeah, and it actually involved myself as well as you this time.
It did, yes. This is a How Not to Do Business that includes Lucas. And before we get to that, though, we should mention people probably notice there's more sponsored content on the channel. We've had an eclectic range of sponsors over the years, ranging from a guy who sells wool, who then went on to make a card game. We've had people making graphic novels, people who sell artwork or t-shirts. We've had Twitch streamers. We've had collaborations with other content creators, which resulted in the creation of the Knowledge Demon series, which in of itself led to a now working relationship with Psycho, who make that stuff, who now they help host our merch store. So, we have a merch store now. That's a result of a collaboration we had in the past. So if there's anyone out there who wants to work with us and sponsor a video, reach out at the links you can find below. We consider any and all offers as long as the person lets us have fun.
I recently did the ad read for a sponsor, which was a bit more of a typical corporate business ad read, but we still were given a little bit of freedom to have fun with it and have me on camera.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we did that. So I think the closer we've ever gotten to a traditional quote-unquote ad read as you see on YouTube is we worked the Star Trek mobile game, and even those guys were willing to let us have a bit of fun with it in our own style, and we feel that's very important to the feel of the channel. So the fact we were able to do that in the advertising, whereas pretty much every other big advertiser you've probably seen on YouTube, they didn't want us to do that. They wanted us to talk direct to camera, telling us exactly what to say. And the reason I mention this is because I think our messaging on advertising has been somewhat misconstrued by our audience, where they think that we hate it in all of its form. It's no, we just want to do it in a way that's not obtrusive and feels true to the format we've established.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just something that we wanted to be able to do it our way and have a bit of creativity involved, and B, we also don't like to endorse products that we don't believe in either.
Yeah. And that's why generally when we work with individuals, they'll send us an example of something that they do, or they're just content creators ourselves and they create cool artwork or something that's we support. We support people expressing themselves creatively. Obviously, involved with something that we're personally fans of.
Yeah.
But that brings us to today's not sponsor. So something else just to clarify is every single time we do this, and I know it's not going to convince everyone, but every time we've done one of these how not to do businesses about a specific company, a bunch of people think that it's actually a stealth advertisement. That it's actually the ad read we're talking about, but just stealthily. It's no, it's not.
We are mentioning that brand, but trust me, when marketing teams would not want us to sit there and slander the brand in any way, which we will be doing.
Yes, and again, I'd hope that people would realise when we're talking about these specific advertisers, and we generally mention how restrictive they were in what they'd allow us to do, the fact that we're doing something completely outside of that would indicate that it is not a sponsored episode. Also, on YouTube, so you don't get banned and kicked off the platform, you have to mention that something is an ad with, like, the hashtag sponsored or hashtag ad thing underneath, which this video will not have.
Of like, this is a paid promotion and stuff, yeah.
Like, which you are required to do, and the fact we don't have that, I think, would indicate. But we're still going to, no doubt, get people in the comments of like, this was the best advert I've ever seen. The reason we mention it is because it's something that we actually find kind of interesting, because the story behind how it came about was pretty standard, right up until a certain point. So I'll let you take it away now, Lucas. What happened?
Well, I mean, I presume that what happened is that you just got reached out to by a company.
As they often do.
Mention what company it was.
Yes, it was Manscaped, which I think is, you know, one of the more popular advertisers you'll see on YouTube. They sponsor pretty much everybody. So them reaching out to us is not really that out of the realm of possibility.
It's relatively expected, isn't it?
Yeah. I like to think we count amongst YouTubers who that matter or be on their radar. You know, that's up to, if the audience doesn't think so, that's up to them. But yeah, they did reach out and they offered us, I believe it was $700 to do an advertising spot featuring their brand. And they offered to send us a bunch of their stuff to demonstrate in a potential plug. And I responded saying, oh, there's a member of the channel who has a beard called Lucas. So it's, you know, it makes sense that we've got one member of the channel with a great big bushy beard. And I mentioned, and I think I sent a message to the group chat we have, asking if you'd be comfortable doing that. And you said you would be. You said, yeah, I'll, you know, I don't mind recording a little bit of something for that.
And they were kind enough to like send over a product for me to actually test. And...
Which is where the problem started.
Yes, it is, yeah.
What happened next, Lucas?
Admittedly, there was like a bit of delayed in shipping and stuff like that, but
which you can't account for.
They were accommodating to all that stuff.
But they were very aggressively trying to get the advertisement to go out at a specific time. So
that's just like marketing windows and stuff, yeah.
So they were talking about the video had to go up in May. And I think I got reached out to on like the 27th of May of like, oh, have you done the bit yet? It's like, well, Lucas hasn't got the stuff to review yet and mention in the video, so we can't record anything. Also, there's like a week turnaround time on editing. I don't think this is going to go through, and like that did not sit well with the marketing department. It's like they just kept saying, oh, well, can you get it done by tomorrow? It's like, we don't have the stuff available.
It's like, we're not willing to talk about the product that you've sent to test before testing it.
Exactly, yeah, and they could not get that through their head. Of like, we literally do not have access to the thing you've sent. And it takes us a week to turn around the video. Also, I remember reading through their contracts. That's what I'd recommend people do. If you ever get a contract sent to you, read the small print. And I did not sign their contract because the small print said that once it was signed, the contract could not be terminated by ourselves, only by them. I am not going to enter into any contract where I don't have the ability to drop out of it if, you know, things turn sour.
However, you know, there could have been a situation where the video was approved, everything was signed off on, then you signed the contract, and it all goes through. Which
is what I told them to do, and for anyone curious, I did get them to change that clause, but the fact it was in there in the first place is very worrying to me.
Yeah, like, you know, it all seemed like it was going well. They, you know, sorted out the contract issues, and they, I'd read over it, you'd read over it, we both agreed to the final contract that we would have signed.
I didn't sign it.
That we would have signed. The product made its way over to me. I tested the product and then filmed like the sponsor read and stuff like that. And again, like, you know, we may put it in this footage, and like I was in a makeshift setup in my home office without anyone. So like, yeah, I was a little bit nervous on camera, but I was allowed to like have a bit of fun with it, and felt like relatively happy with it.
And in the spirit of transparency, like, you know, honest thoughts on their products, keeping in mind that you got them for free.
I did get them for free.
Which is something I don't think people mention enough when they review stuff, of like the fact that you got it for free. Do you know, like people review games and stuff? I think there should be a thing that gets added there of like, would you have paid 60 quid for it?
I can't tell you whether that has, because it must in some way subconsciously affect my judgment on the product, because it's free. Everyone likes free things, but I will tell you that I was happy enough with it to replace my trimmer and start using their product without being sponsored by them. So, you know,
because you got sent one for free, so Lucas still uses it for free.
I was favourable on the product and like didn't really overly mention that, because wasn't required to say that we like it. It was just, here's the talking points, and that's again. And you showed like the before and after, like you use it to trim, and like, you know, it lined you up pretty well. Yeah, it did, and that's the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, just I wouldn't want to say that it was a good product if I didn't believe it was a good product. And that's one of the things that I expressed in the
emails I was having with the company of, yeah, like we want to record the video talking about it after it's been tested because we don't want to put something if you don't like it, and you did. No, we got the video. We got the video that you recorded. We edited it into a fact Fiend video, and we even did like a neat little gimmick of like halfway through we did like the robot like cut. Then you sneak in and it's like, oh, secret advertising from Lucas. Like,
it's like, oh, I got sent some free swag. Don't let Karl know that this is sponsored. Little gag, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's well in the realm of the stuff we do on the channel of like, having fun with it, professional. We sent it through to Manscaped for approval, and they flatly turned it down.
And why did they turn it down, Karl?
Because I wasn't in it. Even though, if you recall, folks at home, I specifically opened up discussions with the company by saying, I don't have a beard. I cannot grow a beard, but there's a guy on the channel who does have one. Will you send it to them? And even though they agreed multiple times, got annoyed that I wasn't the one in the video.
They didn't seemingly have a problem with the content that I gave them. It was the person on camera not being Karl.
And here's where, like, my faith at this company were on the up and up start to wane, because the request that I got was, can you not just say everything Lucas said and put that in instead? To which I again responded, I don't have a beard. I literally cannot test your product. I am the worst possible spokesman for your product because I can't use it. And that seemingly didn't matter to them. And that really got to us, didn't it? Like, the fact they don't even care.
It's like, oh, but how can people believe that Karl had tested the product and liked the product if he visibly has no beard? Just get him to say the line. Say the line.
Yeah.
And this is like a company that prides themselves on, in the contract, being like, we want it to be an informal sponsor that's very conversational and doesn't sound like an ad read. And
in the vein of the kind of content you put out on your channel.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was just really frustrating for us. And me, being the savvy businessman I am who did not sign the contract, realised, well, I don't have to fucking do anything now.
Yeah, and you even, responded to them in kind of like, well, yeah, okay, Lucas is not normally the person on the camera, but he is a vocal part of the team and like a prominent member in video. And
this is where I got annoyed about it, because they were downplaying your contribution of like, oh, we were under the understanding that you'd be doing it as the face of the channel. And I might be the face of the channel, but I'm not all it is. Like, the entire channel is built off the back of a conversation between friends, one of which is Lucas, and you are a very important part of the channel. Like, your voice is a distinctive part of the channel. And like, that reveal of you being on camera is something I think our audience would be interested in. Like, to see one of the voices behind the camera for the first time.
We literally did the exact same thing for the Star Trek one.
And they were fine with it, they loved it. And that was also like, another big, traditional style advertiser on YouTube, but Manscaped having none of it. And as of right now, they've not sent another email in about a week, but I got about 2 to 3 emails repeatedly requesting, will you do it? And we'll up the amount. And they upped it to about $1,000 in the end, and I turned it down both times, because like, no, 1, because fuck you, and 2, because you've shit talked a member of the channel. Why would I work with someone who'd just callously disregard the work of someone who's important to the function of it?
And that as well gives me the vibes that obviously they always open with the spiel of we watch your channel and think you'd fit in with the brand. That tells me they didn't watch any videos, or at least not one that I was in. But even then, you could tell, if you've watched another video with, say, Nisha or Brad in it, that you can tell that each person behind the camera is a vocal part of the videos.
The thing is, if you watched any video, you don't even need to watch. You could watch the first minute of any video and know that it's a conversation between 2 friends, and that conversation is the draw. And that left a really sour taste in my mouth, and I didn't like. So I tore up that digital contract, which meant I deleted it. No.
You got your laptop tore it, huh?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. It's fucking just Hulk Hogan, and we didn't work with them. And I just thought, we'd do this, how not to do business, just to talk about it, because I see, a lot of Manscaped ads out there, and that's just one of those things of man, that's fucked up. So frustrating as well that we, made these accommodations, and we were all, behind the scenes, we were all excited about it. Yeah. Because something we can reveal about, running a YouTube channel is that generally when you have a sponsor, it's like a cascade effect where people will see it and like, oh, I didn't realise that was even an option. And we generally get 3 or 4 more offers.
Especially on a channel where we've got a video series of ripping apart sponsor offers. We especially probably come off as a channel that people might not think they can sponsor.
And that was one of the other things that got me. It says, can you not record the thing? I went, Lucas lives in Liverpool. I literally can got this, oh, it doesn't matter. How does it not matter? That even if I can't shave, the fact they don't even care if I've got the product in my hand.
No, bear in mind that they had parts of the contract which say raise product to camera to show it off and stuff.
Which I literally could not do.
You know, it's standard affair, but you wouldn't have had the ability to do that and they're like, just get it done.
So yeah, that's, I guess, how not to do business. And it's a pretty... one of the key things about how not to do business is I can't believe the things I have to say at the end of them to summarise. And this is one of the most baffling ones of all. Don't shit on the people who you want to advertise your product.
I guess because that sponsor didn't happen and we didn't make that money, I should probably mention that we've got a Patreon for the Untitled Side channel,
and I'll tell you
which
what,
helps fund us. Yeah,
maybe we'll do something with the video you recorded. Maybe we'll edit out any references to Manscaped. We'll upload it as a bonus to the Untitled Side channel. If anyone was curious what the original advertisement would look like. So if you want to go see that, just it'll be on the Untitled Side channel as a bonus video around the time this video itself is released. One of the reasons why the How Not to Do Business series exists, because for some of them I was spending hours of my time talking back and forth over multiple days, if not weeks, with these advertisers.
I spent half my day rearranging my entire office
to record that,
record that and edit it and use the product and stuff.
And that interaction, I think, speaks volumes about the relationship advertisers think content creators have with their editors. Where the idea of me saying that my editors are part of the channel and I've got their back was so alien to them. They were just like, why do you not want to fuck them off for more money? Yeah. The fact that they thought I would sell you out for a couple $100 or something like that. Someone I've known for a decade.
I would
was really insulting to me.
I wouldn't know how to react if I'd got another message. Oh, by the way, I know that I told you that I wanted you doing the thing, but
they offered me
me an extra $200, so fuck it, I'm doing the ad read.
Yeah, that's the thing. Basically, what that email to me said, maybe it's not what they intended it to say, but how I read it is, fuck off your friend for $300. I was like, I'm not doing that, no. My friendship with you is worth way more than that. At least 2,000.
I was going to say, you should have emailed them back being like, at least make it $2,000.
Well, yeah. If you do want to reach out and sponsor the channel, and you can jump over the foot, not even a foot, I'd say it's not even a hurdle, it's like a hole in the ground. If you can avoid just sticking your foot in that hole and not insulting one of the 4 people who work on the channel, you're golden.